In the third and the latest exchange of hostages under Israel and Hamas truce deal, 17 hostages were freed on Sunday, which included 14 Israelis and 3 Thai citizens. More in this report.
It was an emotional reunion for these Israelis. Their wait was finally over. The latest batch of freed hostages returned to families on Sunday. Jubilant Israelis flocked in southern Israel, where hostages were brought for preliminary health checks.
The physical condition of the children and the mothers that came to us is now stable. They are undergoing a medical and emotional evaluation by the medical and psychosocial team of the Schneider Children's Hospital.
85-year-old Yafa Adar, embraced by her family in Israel, is now trying to think together how to help with her recovery.
I can say that she's tough, and I can say that she said that she was thinking about the family a lot, and that it helped her survive, and that she could hear the voices of the great-grandchildren calling her, and that it gives her a lot of power.
Another Israeli-Irish child hostage, Emily Korenberg, also reunited with her sister, Natalie Hand. Her father, Tom Hand, said that his daughter has lost weight but was doing better than expected.
We finally got Emily back from the hands of the Gazan terrorists. We're still fighting and want Raya Rotem, Yaya's sister, Hilal's mother. We want her back. As they promised, they wouldn't release children without their mothers, but they did. We're in the hospital, Safra Tel Aviv, taking care of Emily.
Sharon Avigdori and her daughter, Noam, from Kibbutz Be'eri, were also among the 13 Israeli hostages and 4 foreign nationals released on Saturday. Grandfather of 4-year-old American hostage Abigail Idan thanked US President Joe Biden for his role in bringing her home after more than 50 days in Hamas captivity. Abigail's parents were killed in front of her during the October attack in southern Israel. The 4-year-old is a dual citizen of Israel and the United States. She was the first American hostage freed by Hamas as part of a deal struck with the Israeli military. She was the youngest of the 10 Americans believed to be taken hostage after the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel.
It was wow. I couldn't believe until I saw her. I simply could not believe it. Now I'm a bit more relieved. Not completely relieved, because there's happiness mixed with missing Abigail's parents.
US President Joe Biden is calling for the 4-day Israel-Hamas pause in fighting to be extended to allow for the release of more hostages.
Abigail was among 13 hostages released today from Gaza under the brokered and sustained, though intensive U.S. diplomacy. She's now safely in Israel, and we continue to press and expect for additional Americans will be released as well. And we will not stop working until every hostage is returned to their loved ones.
The latest 3 Thai hostages released from Gaza are in good health as per Thailand Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin. As 3 batches of hostages safely return to their next of kin, a question still looms on the safety of the remaining hostages.
Well, indeed, India's Sarah Coates joins us live from Tel Aviv. Sarah, what latest are you getting for us, and how do you see the situation after the ceasefire is over?
Hello there, Sid. Well, look, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he is under a lot of pressure to keep this ceasefire going. This is, of course, what the United States wants. And the Wall Street Journal is today reporting, citing people close to these negotiations, that Egypt and Qatar are once again trying to mediate fresh talks, which could actually see this ceasefire extended which would potentially let out elderly women and also more women and children, along with repatriating the bodies of a number of captives who are believed to have been killed while in captivity. But look, it certainly seems as though the Israeli government will have a lot of discussion ahead of it today. We know that the War Cabinet is meeting a little bit later. And just in the last few minutes, the Prime Minister's office released a statement saying that it has the names of 11 people who are expected to be released by Hamas tonight. But Reuters is now reporting that there seems to be a problem on the Israeli side. They say there's a problem with the list of 11 names, while also difficulties Hamas is having with some of the names of these Palestinian prisoners that are also expected to be released a little later tonight. So it is yet to be seen whether this ceasefire will continue or whether it will actually expire at 7 a.m. local time tomorrow, being Tuesday. Certainly, as I said, a lot of discussion ahead with the Israeli government because there's so much pressure, as I said, on the Prime Minister to get as many of these captives back before this ground operation once again kicks off. Sid.
All right, Sarah, and what all is happening in Gaza during the ceasefire, and how are people managing their lives? That's very important.
It certainly is. Well, look, the humanitarian situation inside the Gaza Strip, according to the United Nations and also according to many aid groups, is dire and growing worse by the minute. Now, according to people on the ground, Palestinians who live in that coastal enclave, they say they've been using this time, this pause in fighting, to try and gather any belongings they potentially may be able to find in this period, also to resupply themselves with basic needs. We're talking here food and water, while also burying the dead, which there are many. Now, we do know that the Israeli military has not been allowing people who have been pushed down into the south of that strip to go north, saying that this is still an active military zone. We saw some incidents actually at the end of last week on Friday where the Israeli military reportedly fired at Palestinians trying to cross that river which divides the north and the south, people who were simply trying to get back to their homes. So it certainly is a dire situation for these people. We know that yesterday 200 aid trucks crossed through that Rafah crossing into the Gaza Strip. But just to put that into perspective for you, that is well below the 500 trucks that normally go through on a daily basis. This is, of course, before that blockade was put on the Strip some 6 or so weeks ago. So the situation is bad. I'm not sure if you can see how terrible this weather is behind me, but that is the same kind of weather that they are experiencing right now in the Strip. And we do need to remember that there are 1.5 million people, if not more, who have been displaced and are currently living without shelter, or if they have some shelter, it is just a little piece of canvas potentially above their head. So certainly a dire situation for these people.
All right. Sarah, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also visited soldiers in Gaza and had a word with them. Any updates on that? And coming on to what you were just saying, that is there any possibility that the ceasefire could be extended?
Well, look, that's what they're discussing. But from what we heard from the Prime Minister yesterday and what we've been hearing from the Defence Minister, Yoav Gallant, he said that once this ceasefire ends, that fighting will resume with intensity. Now, the Prime Minister visited these troops inside the Gaza Strip yesterday. He said that we will return with full force. We are continuing until the end, until victory, saying that nothing will stop it. So it certainly seems as though Israel's military campaign will continue once this ceasefire ends, despite growing international pressure. We do know that, of course, the United States, as I said, has been putting more pressure on the Israeli government to extend it, to let more aid in. But Israel continues to say that it wants to achieve its goal. Its stated goal is to eliminate Hamas inside the Gaza Strip. Sid.
All right. Thanks for your analysis, Sarah.